The galaxy had always looked at Earth with mixed feelings. Some called humans reckless, others called them weak. Most thought Earth was not ready for real power. The Galactic Union let Earth join, but only as a quiet observer. Humans were allowed to watch, learn, and speak, but they were never given control. They were not trusted. Captain Laura Mason stood inside the control room of the diplomatic ship, Orion. She looked at the large screen in front of her. The blue-green world of Varel glowed in the distance. The Galactic Union Summit was being held there. She had been sent with her team to attend the talks. Laura was calm, but her crew could feel the tension in the air. Nate Collins, the tech expert, tapped quickly on his console. Brooke Lane, the pilot, watched their approach. Jared Knox, the tactical officer, stood silent but alert. The summit was about to discuss a vote that could strip Earth of even its observer role. Some member worlds were tired of Earth asking questions and refusing to share full details of their technology. They wanted Earth out. Laura had read the reports. Some alien leaders laughed behind Earth's back. Others warned of human history, full of violence and war. But Earth had changed. It had learned from its mistakes. Still, no one in the galaxy believed that. As the Orion entered orbit, the message from the Virel summit came in. The crew was invited to attend in person. They traveled to the surface and were led into a large, round hall. Every species in the Union had a seat. Strange faces, alien languages, bright colors. All eyes turned to the humans. Laura walked forward. She gave a short speech. She talked about peace, about Earth's wish to be part of something bigger. She was respectful and calm. Then it happened. Without warning, an alarm rang through the summit hall. Security lights flashed. A foul gas began to spread. The Varnak, a hostile species not trusted by many, had planted a biological weapon. Screams rose. Some aliens collapsed. Chaos spread. Laura gave one look to Jared. No words were needed. The crew rushed back to the shuttle and returned to Orion. Inside their ship, Nate activated a defense protocol. The Orion released a wave of microbots. They flew into the planet's upper air and began to clean the gas before it could spread further. Within minutes, the gas was neutralized. Brooke opened the channel to the summit. "This is Earth's ship, Orion. The threat has been removed. You are safe now." On Virel, the council members looked at one another in shock. The humans had acted fast, without asking for help. They had used technology the Union had never seen. Not even the leading science worlds had microbots like those. The head speaker, an elder from the Valari species, looked at Laura on the screen. "You did this with ease. Why have you hidden such tools?" Laura did not smile. Her voice was firm. "Earth has been holding back. We have always hoped that peace would be enough. But today we were almost erased. From this moment on, we will not pretend anymore." There was silence in the summit hall. The aliens looked at one another with new eyes. This was not the Earth they thought they knew. Back on the Orion, Jared leaned closer to Laura. "Do you think they got the message?" Laura nodded. "Yes, and it's just the beginning." The ship left orbit and returned to deep space, heading for the next meeting point. But the message had already reached every world in the Union. Earth was done playing nice. Asterisk. The news of Earth's warning spread fast across the galaxy. Most Union worlds were quiet. Some were afraid. Some were angry. But all of them now knew that Earth had been hiding more than they showed. Captain Laura Mason and her crew returned to the Orion. They did not speak much at first. Each one knew that the galaxy had changed in those few minutes on Virel. Earth had revealed a part of itself, and there was no turning back. In the command room, Nate Collins sat in front of his screen. He was studying messages from the Galactic Union Council. Most of the leaders were asking questions. They wanted answers. They wanted to know what else Earth had kept from them. Laura looked at the screen. They want us to explain, but I think it is better to show them. Jared Knox crossed his arms. What kind of show do you have in mind? Laura walked over to the display table. She brought up a map of the Varnak region. We know the Varnak are hiding weapons on a drifting asteroid base near the outer rim. The Union has never been able to get inside. Nate turned around. Are you thinking of sending in a team? No, Laura said. We send Lena Doyle. Lena Doyle was one of Earth's best pilots. She had trained in secret with a prototype stealth ship known only to Earth's command. The ship had the ability to hide from sensors, bend light, and fly through enemy zones without being seen. Lena was called to the Orion and given the mission. She did not ask questions. She only nodded and prepared the ship. The Union Council agreed to the plan. They allowed Earth to carry out the mission, but warned that any failure would reflect badly. Lena left without a sound. The stealth ship disappeared into the stars. 3 days later, the Orion received a message. The asteroid base had been entered. The weapons were disabled. The Varnak pirates were captured. Not one person had been killed. The Union could not believe it. Their own agents had failed many times. Earth had done it in less than a week. Laura stood before the Union Council again, this time on a neutral station. She gave no long speech. She only said, "You asked who we are. This is who we are." Some members clapped. Others sat in silence. But they all understood. Earth was not weak. Earth was not simple. They were ready. Soon after, reports came in that the Varnak were preparing another attack. They had moved a fleet near one of the main trade routes. The Galactic Union began to panic. Laura asked for something bold. She wanted Earth to take command of the defense fleet. The request shocked the Council. Many feared giving Earth control, but others said they had no better choice. After long talks, the Council gave permission. Jared Knox was given command of the fleet. It was made up of ships from many worlds, but Earth had planned the defense. Earth had trained the teams. Before they left, Laura called a meeting on the Orion. "This is more than a fight," she said. "This is a message. We will stop the Varnak, but we will also show the Union who we are. We do not want war, but we are ready for it." Jared led the fleet into the outer zone. The Varnak ships were already in position. They expected slow movement and weak planning. They were wrong. Earth's plan was fast and sharp. Ships moved in patterns the Varnak could not follow. Jared used old Earth war tactics mixed with new tech. The enemy fleet began to fall apart. In only a few hours, the Varnak pulled back. Earth's fleet held the line. No ships from Earth were lost. The other captains were shocked. Some asked to study Earth tactics. Others simply thanked Jared and his team. Back on the station, Laura stood again before the Union. She spoke clearly. "For years, we watched and stayed silent. We tried to fit in, but silence is not peace. Hiding does not build trust. So we will now be honest. We are strong, we are ready, and we will not pretend anymore." Many leaders stood and clapped. A few left the room. Earth was no longer a quiet world in the background. It had taken the stage, and now the whole galaxy was watching. The Varnak were quiet for days, but everyone knew they would strike again. The Galactic Union started to send more ships to protect trade routes. Many worlds were nervous. Some were still unsure if Earth should be trusted with power, but none of them could ignore what Earth had done. Captain Laura Mason stayed in contact with the Union Council. She could feel the tension in every message. The galaxy had seen what humans could do with speed and strategy. Now they wanted to know what humans would do if truly pushed. The answer came when the Varnak sent out a message to all Union systems. It was a challenge. They demanded one-on-one combat to prove strength. They said the galaxy had become soft. They wanted a fight. Some Union members saw it as a trap. Others believed the Varnak were testing Earth. No one wanted to answer the challenge. No one except Earth. Laura called a meeting on the Orion. Jared Knox, Brooke Lane, Nate Collins, and others sat around the table. They listened to the Varnak message again. "They think we won't respond," Laura said. "They think humans are afraid to fight. But I know someone who can answer them." She turned to the far end of the table. A man sat alone. He was quiet. His name was Marcus Dean. He had trained in Earth combat for many years. Most people didn't know how skilled he was because he never talked about it. He did not look dangerous. But everyone on the Orion knew better. "Marcus," Laura said, "we need you to show them, not with anger, not to destroy, just enough so they understand." Marcus nodded. "I understand." The Union set up a neutral zone for the match. Ships from every major species gathered to watch. The fight was to take place on a flat training ground, with no weapons allowed. Only physical combat. The Varnak fighter was large and strong. He stood nearly 8 feet tall, covered in dark armor. He laughed when he saw Marcus. The alien crowd joined in. Marcus did not speak. He stepped onto the field and waited for the signal. When the signal came, the Varnak charged with loud roars. He swung heavy fists, trying to crush Marcus in one blow. But Marcus moved fast. He dodged without fear. His hands struck with speed and force. The crowd fell silent. Marcus used moves no one had seen. His feet stayed light. His arms moved like waves. In less than a minute, the Varnak was on the ground, unable to stand. Marcus stepped back. He did not cheer. He did not speak. He simply waited. The medical team rushed in. The Varnak fighter was alive, but shocked. He had never felt defeat like that before. Laura stepped forward and spoke into the open channel. "This is what we meant when we said we were holding back. We do not seek war, but we are not weak." The message was clear. Earth had shown strength with control. They did not brag. They did not harm more than needed. But the lesson was learned. After the match, the Union ships returned to their systems. Most sent messages of respect to Earth. Some asked to study human training methods. A few still watched with fear. The Varnak did not speak for several days. Then, without warning, they launched a small attack on a Union supply station. They wanted revenge. Earth responded quickly. Laura sent Jared with a small group of ships. They didn't use full weapons. They used speed, planning, and careful strikes. The Varnak ships were disabled, not destroyed. The supply station was safe. No lives were lost. This second action made a deeper impact. The galaxy now saw that Earth could crush enemies, but chose not to. They were not out of control. They were strong and smart. Back on the Orion, Laura met with her crew. "Today we showed them something new. Not just how we fight, but how we stop fighting when we win. That is what sets us apart." Brooke smiled. "They were expecting monsters. We gave them discipline. Marcus spoke quietly. Sometimes peace needs to be proven. Not with words, but with action. Laura nodded. And now the galaxy is starting to understand. Earth had once been seen as a world full of war and chaos. Now, that same history gave them power and control. The galaxy no longer laughed at humans. They listened. The calm after Earth's victory did not last long. Some in the Galactic Union began to whisper behind closed doors. They said Earth was becoming too powerful. They feared humans might take control of everything. On a cold moon near the edge of Union space, a group of leaders met in secret. They did not trust Earth. They believed humans were pretending to be peaceful while planning to take over the galaxy. These leaders started to gather ships and soldiers without the Union's approval at the same time. Captain Laura Mason was back on the Orion. She had received reports of growing unrest. A message came in from the Council. There had been an attack on a spaceport in the Kellan system. The attackers used weapons that looked like old Union tech, but the signs pointed to a group of rebels from within the Union itself. Laura read the reports and frowned. They are trying to push us out, but they're doing it in the dark. Jared Knox stood beside her. Do we respond? Yes, Laura said, but not with more ships. We need a team that can move fast and act quiet. She called in Echo Team, a special unit trained on Earth for missions just like this. They were not loud. They did not seek attention, but they always finished the job. Sam Rhodes led the team. He was calm, sharp, and always followed orders. Laura trusted him fully. The mission was clear. Find out who was behind the attack, stop more from happening, and avoid open war. Echo Team landed on the Kellan spaceport under the cover of night. The area was still damaged. The people were scared. Sam and his team moved through the ruins, searching for clues. They found a hidden door in a storage bay. Inside, they discovered a small base filled with weapons and stolen Union codes. There were messages linking the attack to a group called the Silent Circle. The Silent Circle was made up of Union citizens who hated Earth. They believed the galaxy was safer before humans joined. Now they were trying to force Earth out. Sam sent the data back to the Orion. Laura shared it with the Union Council. Some leaders were shocked. Others remained silent. One day later, the Silent Circle struck again. This time, they took over a city on a trade world named Veltron. They held over 1,000 people hostage, most of them from different planets. The Union panicked. Some called for peace talks. Others demanded force. Laura acted. She sent Echo Team and 2 ships from Earth. The goal was clear. Save the people without starting a war. Sam and his team landed outside the city. They moved building by building, using tools that disabled weapons without killing anyone. They reached the hostages and freed them without being seen. Meanwhile, Jared led the ships in the sky. When the rebel ships tried to run, he blocked their path without firing. He sent a message: we are not here to destroy. We are here to protect. In the end, no one died. The rebels were caught and taken in. The people of Veltron cheered. News of Earth's actions spread across the galaxy. For the first time, citizens from other worlds began to speak in favor of Earth. They said humans had saved them when no one else would. The Galactic Union could no longer ignore the truth. Earth was not trying to take control. They were holding the galaxy together. On the Orion, Laura stood in front of her crew. We are doing more than showing our strength. We are building trust. The old ways are changing. Brooke Lane smiled. And people are finally starting to see it. the Union Council held an emergency vote. They decided to remove the old system and build a new one. Every member world would have a voice, but Earth would now have a seat at the center. Some leaders still feared what humans could become, but they also saw what could happen without them. Earth had proven they did not act for power. They acted when others could not or would not. A new chapter in the galaxy had begun, and Earth was leading it. A new age was starting in the galaxy. The old Union had been replaced. A new galactic assembly had been formed, one where all voices could be heard, and where Earth finally had a seat at the center. It had not come through war or force, but through action, control, and trust. Captain Laura Mason sat at the front of the assembly chamber. The room was full of leaders from every part of the galaxy. Her crew from the Orion was watching from the upper deck. They had helped make this day possible. Laura gave a short speech. She spoke of unity, balance, and truth. She said humans were not perfect, but they had learned, and they wanted to help others find the same path. Many in the room listened closely. Some nodded. Others still watched with caution, but no one laughed anymore. No one doubted. While Earth joined the new assembly, trouble was not over. The Vant still held ships at the edge of known space. They had gone silent for weeks, and many feared they were planning something. When a scout ship went missing near a dark region of space, the assembly turned to Earth. "We will go," Laura said, "but not to destroy. We go to stop the fight before it begins." The Orion led the mission. Ships from 3 other planets joined, but Earth was in charge. They moved carefully through the stars, following the trail of the missing scout. Soon, they found a Varnock fleet hiding near a dead star. The Varnock leader, Commander Grash, sent a message. "You should not be here. We are not afraid of humans," Laura answered. "Then you should know we are not here to scare. We are here to offer peace, but we will not back down." Grash waited before replying. "You won the last fight, but you used tricks. Earth hides its true power." "We hide it," Laura said, "because power without reason is just fear, and fear brings chaos." There was a long pause. Then the Varnock fleet slowly pulled back. They did not surrender, but they did not attack. For now, that was enough. The mission returned safely. The assembly praised Earth for avoiding battle and keeping the peace. Many leaders now saw Earth as more than just strong. They saw them as wise. In the weeks that followed, Earth began training peace teams. These teams were made of humans and aliens. They learned from each other. They shared knowledge, skills, and stories. Jared Knox helped build new training centers. Brooke Lane helped design ships that could work with many species. Nate Collins opened Earth tech files for other scientists to study. Sam Rhodes helped train leaders in how to end a fight without starting a new one. People across the galaxy started to believe again, not just in Earth, but in the future. One day, the assembly sent a new mission. A signal had come from outside known space. It was old, strange, and not from any known species. Laura met with her crew. She showed them the signal. "This may be something new, or something forgotten. Either way, we will go." The Orion was chosen to lead the mission. A new fleet was formed. Ships from across the galaxy joined. They flew together under a single banner, not a flag of Earth, not of one world, but a flag made of many stars, a sign that the galaxy had changed. As the fleet left orbit, people from every world watched. They saw ships that once fought now fly side by side, and they knew who made that possible. Earth had warned the galaxy. They had held back, But when they stepped forward, they did not conquer. They led, and now they were leading the galaxy into the unknown, not with fear, but with hope. Asterisk, the journey into unknown space had begun. The fleet, led by the Orion, moved through quiet and dark areas of the galaxy where no ships had traveled before. The stars looked different here. Some blinked and faded, while others glowed with strange colors. There were no signals, no signs of life, only the soft hum of engines and the deep silence of space. Captain Laura Mason stood at the front of the bridge. She looked ahead with steady eyes. Her crew moved with quiet focus. Everyone knew this was not just a mission. It was the next step in Earth's path. A chance to show the galaxy that humans could lead with care and courage. Report, Laura said, .NATE. Collins checked the scans. Nothing yet. No signals, no ships. Just this strange energy field ahead. It doesn't match anything in the records. Brooke Lane, the pilot, frowned. It's thick, like a wall of clouds in space, but it's not solid. Should we go through it? Laura nodded. We didn't come this far to turn back. Take us in. The Orion moved into the strange field. Light bent around the ship. For a moment, the stars vanished. Then everything changed. On the other side, a planet came into view. It was large, covered in blue oceans and green land, but it wasn't on any map. There were no signs of cities, no lights, yet it felt alive. Is this a hidden world? Jared Knox asked. Maybe, Laura said. Prepare a small team. We go down and see for ourselves. A landing group was formed. Laura, Jared, Sam Rhodes, and 2 scientists from other worlds joined the mission. They landed near a forest with silver trees and soft blue grass. The air was clean. The sky was full of soft light. They moved carefully, scanning as they walked. The place felt untouched, peaceful, but not empty. Suddenly, a figure stepped from behind a tree. It looked humanoid, tall and smooth-skinned, with glowing eyes. It did not speak with words, but the message came clearly into their minds. You have come far. Why? Laura stepped forward. We came to explore, to understand, to learn if there are others like us beyond what we know. The figure studied them. Long ago, others came. They fought. They feared what they did not understand. We hid, but you do not bring fear. Sam took a slow step forward. We don't want to take. We want to share. We brought others with us, from many worlds, not just from Earth. The figure nodded. That is why we let you see this world. More beings appeared. They welcomed the group with calm and open minds. The scientists asked questions. The beings answered. They shared old knowledge, maps of other regions, and stories of their past. They spoke of a time when many species worked together, but fear broke that unity. Now, seeing the mixed fleet led by Earth, they believed it might be time to return. The galaxy needs unity again, one of them said. You may be the spark. Laura promised they would return with peace and respect. The beings gave them a device, a simple tool that could share knowledge slowly over time. It was a gift of trust. Back on the Orion, the mood was full of quiet wonder. The team had found something more than a new world. They had found hope from the past, waiting to be part of the future. The fleet turned around and started the journey back to known space. The message had already been sent ahead. A peaceful species had been found. They welcomed contact. They trusted Earth to lead the way as they moved through the stars, Laura looked out at the galaxy. We were warned once not to show our power, but this is a different kind of power. The power to build, not break. Jared nodded, and now the galaxy sees it too. The mission was not the end. It was only the beginning of something much larger. Earth had gone into the unknown, not with weapons, but with open hands, and the stars had answered